guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today I'm continuing on with the Atari versus Intellivision series that I've been doing, and I'm in the ColecoVision titles. So my last video I actually did Venture, which is a great game all around. It's a great game on the Atari, a great game on the Intellivision. I enjoyed both of them. So now we're moving into Zaxxon, which is another arcade classic. Coleco did all the arcade classics of the day, so each system had their own version, and some of them were really good and some of them were really bad. So I'm going to start off today with Atari 2600 first, and then we're going to move into the Intellivision version and see how they compare. Okay, so we got the Atari screen up. Now this is the start screen. I really don't like this. All you see is a 1, a 0, I guess that's your fuel gauge or something, and a blank screen, and that annoying noise. I don't know why, or who did that, but it's not really good. So I'm just going to start the game. There we go. So we got our airplane there. So when you finally move a bit, you get rid of that obnoxious noise, and you can actually start playing the game. So if you're not familiar with Zaxxon or know what it is, it's pretty much you're on an asteroid belt or an asteroid itself, being taken over by these aliens, being that Zaxxon is like an alien robot, and you're just trying to go and, I guess, save the asteroid from all these invading aliens. So let's... Now the thing is that this game originally is supposed to be an isometric view, so it should actually be going kind of on a diagonal axis, not straight forward like this. This is more like a river raid style, and those walls are kind of weird. Like, those are walls I'm assuming I'm flying over. I think that's what they're trying to be anyways. But yeah, the view is different. So if you played this on the ColecoVision, you'll know what I'm talking about. Or if you played it on the arcade or any other version of this game where it's actually what it's supposed to be. So now we're going to go into we're out of the asteroid, and now we're into outer space, and we have to shoot these alien ships that are coming at us. Oh, I mean, the sound effects are good. The shooting sounds, the explosion sounds are cool. I mean, this part of the game is okay, and I mean, it kind of mimics what exactly you would be doing in the arcade version. So now we're going to come back to the asteroid again, and you have to make sure you fit through the little hole, or else you'll smash into the wall. I do like how they did give it a little bit of the depth feel. They got the proper shadowing and stuff to show you that there's, these things are actually floating. Those are fuel tanks that I'm hitting. And you have the gauge on the side. I guess that's the altitude gauge, what I thought might have been the fuel gauge or something. The fuel gauge is actually at the bottom there, where my number of planes are. Right now I got 1 left. That's the fuel gauge. And you have to shoot these green things, these green bins of fuel. So again, it's much like in River Raid. Probably River Raid was inspired by this game originally, I would assume. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. The details in this game, like the detail is very minimal. And there's our Zaxxon guy. You have to shoot the missile a couple of times, I believe. You just got to learn the altitude that you need to be at, the height you need to be at, and just fire away at its missile. Nothing really impressive about that stage. He didn't look menacing at all. There wasn't any sound or anything. So really, I mean, you're just going through and just shooting these items. Oh, I need to get some fuel fast. I often forget about that. And I know you can't really fly at the very top like this. I'm at the very top. So I believe he'll start shooting missiles at you. I don't know if that actually happens on the Atari one. I know it's supposed to happen. But I'm going to come back down anyways just to get the fuel. And we're back into space again. This game pretty much just loops on. Gets a little bit harder as you play it, but still cool. I know my friend James from Jim's Retro Zone, I think he's got the record for this one, the Atari 2600 version. Or I know he was competing for it, and maybe he had it, and I don't know if he still has it, but for the Twin Galaxy scoreboard. Whoa! I was never actually good at this one. I mean, I played, like I said, I played the Commodore 64 one. I played it a lot, but this one is just a little bit different. I think the lack of detail on the asteroid is what kind of does it. You know, part of the thing that made Zaxxon really good was the detail of the kind of almost like a circuit board look to it. Made it look like a really interesting asteroid that you were flying on. And you're kind of missing that with this one. Oh, I hit the wall. And the perspective obviously is a little bit different. They do shrink the objects in the distance to try and make it look like depth, which is good. But even still, it kind of misses that, you know. Losing the isometric view is really what changed this game. And it's interesting because they did it in other games, so I don't know why they couldn't do it on this one. Okay, so we got the Zaxxon booted up for the Intellivision now. So as you can see, it's got like a, well, it has a start screen. The Atari didn't have the start screen, but there's not much here. I mean, it's just the green with the Zaxxon. And it does say it's made by Sega. And this is something I brought up when I talked about Donkey Kong, in that it being kind of funny that we have this game that's made by Sega, but it's presented by Coleco, and you're playing it on an Atari or an Intellivision. But, you know, in all fairness, at the time, Sega didn't have a system. Neither did Nintendo, at least not here in North America. So anyways, let's get to playing Zaxxon on the Intellivision. So we got one player. Yep, one. And skill level of 1, because I like to play that way. And here we go. Okay, so as you can see, it looks very much like the Atari one, which is kind of disappointing. I really thought that the Intellivision version would look a little bit more like the ColecoVision version. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It just kind of looks like they copied the Atari version. I don't know which one they might have programmed first, if they made this one first. As you can see, I'm ramming into everything. This one is going a little bit faster. Now you do have the slider bar on the side, on both sides, telling you your elevation or your, you know, your depth or whatever, how high up you are. That's an interesting change. But otherwise, I mean, the screen is very bland. It's just blue, like a light blue. There's no details, there's nothing. Like, it's kind of, you know, it looks like they missed out on you know, creating a really decent looking game and just kind of went with the basics. And this is part of the problem on why a lot of people say things like they intentionally made these games bad to elevate their own system, which I don't think is to be true. I know there was a lot of problems with the programming, the timing, and all that stuff, and the budget, but I don't think they actually intentionally sabotaged these games just so they could upsell the ColecoVision. That wouldn't make any sense on a, you know, business-wise, to put your name on a poor product. And I know I've said this before. So let's try this one again. We're gonna play one player and skill level of 1. Let's try again. Seems how I didn't get very far on that one. But yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in this one. They had an opportunity to make a really cool Zaxxon game, and it just seems like they just went with the very basic. And it's weird because with River Raid, they made a really impressive looking River Raid. So, you know, I understand that that's a different company. That, you know, this is Coleco, and River Raid was Activision, and they put a little bit more care into their games, but still, you think that they would have, you know, put a little bit more effort into this one. I don't know what's more disappointing, this one or Donkey Kong. Now, don't get me wrong. I always still say that Donkey Kong is one of my favorites, but that's more on a sentimental reason. It's not really on, you know, on being a good game. This one's, you know, it's playable. It's challenging, that's for sure. It does feel like it moves faster. It doesn't have that annoying sound though with the at the beginning there when the Atari one started up. It had that weird, crazy sound. Let's see if I can get into space. I just want to get the Zaxxon just so we can see how he looks like. I find this to be very similar on the Atari one, to the Atari one. I mean, both of them are not really challenging when it comes to this one. You're literally just shooting and dodging. There's not a lot more you can do. Just back and forth, just keep shooting. Just be ready for when the next asteroid comes in. Again, it's just a nice center hole. You just go through it. This one also has the fuel, but I guess those red ones are the fuel. Instead of being green, they're red in this one. It looks like everything is red, actually. Oh, no, we got some yellow in there. This is where the detail is just missing. I mean, they just totally blew it on the graphics. The gameplay is okay, but the graphics are just bad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Down to one man. See if I can get the Zaxxon without dying. Just gotta worry about my fuel, really. As I'm not really focusing on my score. Just gotta make sure I can get through. I do like the walls in this one. They did a better job. There he is. Alright, so where's his missile? There it is. Whoa. It's hard. It's hard to figure out where... There we go. We got him. We got him. Now we're moving on. Oh, and I hit the wall. That was disappointing. Alright, let's make sure I'm all the way up here. Oh, something just shot me. Was that a missile? And we're going to go through again. Whoa, that guy. Okay. Now they're shooting at me. Okay. Everything's shooting at me. So it just gets harder. Yeah, not really fun right now. Everything's trying to kill me. I'm finding that those altitude meters really aren't... Oh, geez. So that's different. Some type of force field wall or something. I remember that in the Commodore 64 version. Also in the arcade, obviously. Okay, well, there you have it. I mean, both of them kind of failed, in my opinion. I think, you know, the Atari one, at least they showed a little bit of effort with some detailing. The walls were not so good. And, you know, it lacked a lot of stuff. But the Intellivision one wasn't any better. I mean, I don't even know which one's worse. I would almost say the Intellivision one's a little bit worse, just in that it's a lot harder. I just found controlling the ship was a little bit, you know, more wonky, and it did get harder. And I was more upset about the fact that they didn't do any better with the graphics. You're typically expecting Intellivision to pull off better graphics than the Atari. But in this case, I think the Atari definitely took the lead when it came to a little bit more polished off look and feel to it. You know, the planes kind of look similar. It's just everything else. and Zaxxon himself was kind of weird in the Intellivision. So both of these titles just kind of meh in my book. And I think if you want to play Zaxxon, you're best to stick with the ColecoVision version, or anyone beyond that point. Probably best to stick with those. These ones are great for nostalgia reasons, but I wouldn't recommend either one of them because it's just play River Raid. Anyways, let me know what you think down below. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. That was my opinion. I'm not too big on these versions. They're not the kind of games that I continuously play. Mainly on those reasons. Anyways, let me know what you think. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.